Welcome to TERRA at Home with your host, Chris Moretti.
Good morning and welcome to TERRA at Home. On today's show, we're going to be talking about some great ways to spend time in the summer in the Hamilton area. And I'm joined by Greg Cavallaro.
How are you?
From Bill's Bait and Tackle. Thanks so much for being with us,
Oh,
Greg.
no problem.
Greg, you own Bill's Bait and Tackle in Hamilton.
Yep.
And I'm very excited to pick your brain today about some of the basics of enjoying a fantastic hobby that's great for the whole family, fishing.
Absolutely, yeah, it's very family oriented. And it's actually a very cheap way to spend a nice day in the weather.
So Hamilton, many people may not recognize, but Hamilton has a lot of great little fishing spots. Can you give us a few that you would like to share?
Absolutely. Hamilton Harbor is one of the better spots in our area too. There's a lot of events like fishing derbies that Bay Days do.
Yeah.
And because we're on the Great Lakes, there's actually a lot of different species of fish to be caught there. A lot of our customers go down there for yellow perch.
Nice.
Yeah, and largemouth bass as well.
Wonderful.
And lately they've been fishing for a lot more of carp too.
Oh, and carp is something you hear a lot about, for sport fishing. There are carp derbies, that kind of thing, and it's kind of a fun thing to catch, especially with the kids, because it's kind of a big thing to pull out of the water.
Absolutely, yeah. They fight hard and they're fairly easy to catch with the right bait anyway.
I like the pink rod we've got going on
absolutely.
here. Can you walk us through this setup?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We have a lot more women and young ladies getting into fishing now.
Yeah.
So Fisher Girls put out a new rod, and that's called the Jewel. It's a pink setup, but basically for the young ladies in the family, it's a great way to get them out fishing and keep them enthused with it.
Absolutely. Well, and it's nice to have a rod that's all your own. I know that I've shared a fishing setup with my husband, but to really get involved, you like having your own thing. I invested in a pink tackle box myself.
Absolutely.
It's kind of nice to have your own equipment. So for someone who's just getting started out, maybe interested in, throwing a few casts out there this summer, what are sort of the basics that we need to make sure we have to get started?
For sure. Well, the basics would definitely be a rod and reel.
Yeah.
They're not too expensive to start with. There's price for everything from under $15 right up to $1,000 and everything in between.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're just getting kids out, like when I take my nephews, I find the easiest thing to do is to set them up with a small plastic float.
Yeah.
A small weight just to get the bait down to where the fish are.
Okay.
And then just a long shanked hook. I like to use them without the barbs on it, just so it keeps it a little user friendly for the kids, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I find that's the easiest way to fish with young kids because it keeps them out of the rocks with the float and it makes it a little more enjoyable for the parents too.
So the float keeps everything sort of up at the water surface level, a little bit better anyway, rather than getting snagged in the rocks. Is this the same as a bobber?
Yeah, same thing, just a little more sophisticated. This would be your old traditional style, the red and whites.
I remember those from my childhood.
Absolutely. They're just a little more sensitive if you're getting young kids into it. So when the smaller fish are biting, they'll be able to see it a little more dramatic if the float's going under easier.
Yeah.
So, absolutely.
Okay, let's move on to the next setup here. Now, do we have some significantly different setups with the different rods?
Absolutely. We brought one set up for, this is called a perch rig or a pickerel rig.
Okay.
And if you're looking for yellow perch, basically how it works is you got the weight on the bottom.
Yeah.
And then there's a couple of hooks here suspended off the bottom. So basically the weight's going to sit on bottom and your hook and your bait, your worm or your minnow or whatever you'd like to use, artificial, will be suspended about a foot or two off the bottom. Okay. And that's generally where you'll find the yellow perch. Yeah. So
now perch and pickerel, I understand, are big in Lake Erie. Is that true?
Absolutely.
Are there other places in the area to find them?
Actually, Hamilton Harbor's got quite a few yellow perch. More the northern pike than pickerel, but there are a few being caught every now and then.
What about eating what you catch in this area? Where do you go and what do you keep, what do you not?
Well, the Ministry of Natural Resources puts out a food guide, and that'll tell you your safe limits on what you can eat in the area from different lakes all around us. Lake Erie, they still commercial fish it, so a lot of people go there for the yellow perch, and they'll use a pickerel rig and some emerald shiners to catch them. But Yeah.
I know yellow perch is something I'm seeing sort of more specialty available in small quantities at the grocery store, that kind of thing. In the summer, it's a rare treat that we hardly ever get a hold of. So to catch your own must be a really special experience.
Absolutely, absolutely.
How about bait? We're talking about different lures and things that we have set up. Is there an advantage to live bait versus artificial bait, and how do you choose?
Usually it depends on which species.
Yeah.
For the yellow perch, it is tough to get away from an emerald shiner, which is basically a small minnow.
Okay.
But that's what the yellow perch in the Great Lakes feed on. So it's really tough to beat them for bait. For each species, there seems to be a better prey of choice. Like if you're fishing at Christie Lake, for example, it's a lot weedier. You might try like an imitation frog or something weedless because it's a pretty weedy lake.
So it's a good idea when you're going out maybe to pick the brain of an expert like yourself, where you are sort of finding out in the body of water in which you're fishing what's there, and then what best attracts those species.
Absolutely. Basically, rule of thumb is to match the hatch, and all that means is you want to match the prey to what your predator is looking for.
Makes sense.
For largemouth bass, it would probably be a frog or a leech. And yellow perch, like I was saying, it's tough to beat a live minnow.
All right, let's talk about our third setup here, which I'm sure is different still.
Yeah, this is a pre-rigged Kelly's worms, and all this is basically a weedless worm. So at Christie's Lake or wherever you want to go, like Valens or wherever you're fishing, you could fish these in the weeds, and you do get hooked up once in a while, but it makes it a lot more enjoyable when you're not hooking up on weeds every time you're fishing.
Okay, so this specific bait or lure is going to move easier through weedy areas and not get snagged up so much?
Absolutely.
That's a good advantage for sure.
For sure.
For yourself, obviously being the owner of a fishing store, I'm sure this is a labor of love.
Absolutely.
How long have you been fishing?
I've been fishing since a little kid, like everybody, with my dad and my mom. We'd go out for family day, and we'd fish with everybody, my sister and brother.
And how long has the business been in operation, Bill's Bait and Tackle?
Bill's Bait and Tackle has been in the city for over 40 years. It's changed hands a few times. Presently, my brother and I own it. But it started out as a small house, a little bait shop, just north of Fennel.
Okay.
And we moved since down the road to in between Mohawk and the Link. 858 Upper James.
So all of the fishing stuff you brought today, of course, you can find at the shop.
Absolutely.
Any other must-haves? Any little tips that we should make sure go into the tackle box before we hit the water?
Absolutely. Myself, I always like to have a good pair of pliers or forceps on hand, so if you do catch something, you can unhook it without
That's a good thing.
Without struggling. Make sure you're not getting any hooks in the hands or anywhere you don't want to have them.
Fair enough. Thank you so much for being with us,
problem.
Greg. I'm so excited to have had you with us. Is there a website where people can reach you and find out more about the business?
Absolutely. It's www.billsbaitandtackle.ca.
And right quickly before we go, your absolute favorite fishing spot in the Hamilton area?
In the Hamilton area would probably be Valens Conservation Area.
All right, it's a good one to check out. Coming up after the break, we'll hear from the Hamilton Conservation Authority and maybe get a few more tips on where to cast your line this summer. Coming up next on Terra at Home.
Come and explore the new Terra, where color lives.
When we first bought the house, the lawn was nothing but brown. So I called my father-in-law. He's really good with the lawn. He knows exactly what to do.
Well, I told him you're Scott's turf builder. He said, well, I got this other stuff. And I told him, take it back to the store. But some brands have filler like sand and gravel, stuff you don't want on your lawn. Scott's turf builder is pure food. Every granule's 100% nutrition. You get what you pay for every time. You see what happens, Tim, when you listen to your father-in-law?
All food, no filler. That's the Scott's advantage.
Welcome back to TERRA at Home, where I'm now joined by Chris Hamilton from the Hamilton Conservation Authority. Chris, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
We are at the beautiful Christie Lake on a beautiful day. I can't think of many places I would rather be.
Yeah, it's a great day. Christie Lake is one of our many conservation areas we have in the Hamilton area. Hamilton Conservation Authority is a lot more than just conservation areas, though. First and foremost, we're an environmental agency. Mm-hmm. Our prime objective, I guess if you will, would be to manage our water and natural resources in the area, flood control, flood forecasting and warning. We have a lot of regulatory aspects to us. We have a planning and engineering department which deals closely with the city of Hamilton and municipalities on urban planning and regulations that affect shoreline erosion, diversion of creeks and streams.
So a lot of management of natural resources like water and how they affect the city of Hamilton.
Exactly. And water being the key element, especially since the Walkerton disaster about 10 years ago.
Sure. Conservation
authorities in Ontario are now responsible for drinking water source protection. So we, in a sense, we really touch everybody in Hamilton. I mean, everybody drinks water, and part of our programs and mandates now are to protect sources of drinking water as well.
Which is a very important thing, obviously.
Absolutely.
We're here enjoying the waterfront here at Christie Lake, and this is just an example of one of many different properties that are managed by the Conservation Authority. I think there may be sort of a conception from outsiders of Hamilton. You don't think of naturalized areas, you don't think of these beautiful parks and waterfalls and all the great stuff that Hamilton has to offer, but there are so many places like this in the Hamilton area that are simply beautiful and wonderful natural areas to enjoy.
And not only that, a lot of our areas, conservation areas, weren't just formed to create recreation, they were formed to protect environmentally significant natural areas. So for instance, many people who drive from Toronto to Niagara don't see the massive amount of green space Hamilton has.
Yeah.
We talk about significant natural areas. Our newest conservation area on the East Mountain, Aramosa Karst, is it's an educational gem. We have schools coming in and learning about the interesting geography of sinkholes and underground streams and caves. We have an 18,000-year-old muskeg bog. The Copetown Bog is one of our conservation areas. We protect wetlands, forests, escarpment properties, waterfalls. There's just a huge, diverse range of natural areas in Hamilton for the public to come out and enjoy.
Not only for the public to enjoy, of course, they're wonderful places to visit with the family and spend an afternoon or a whole weekend even in some cases, but it's also really significant to area wildlife as well, as I'm sure with we're seeing interesting species of birds come back. It's a wonderful thing.
Absolutely. We're seeing a lot of species that that were once in the area that haven't been here for a long time returning to the area because of the way we're protecting our natural areas. And it's not just the Conservation Authority. We see the bald eagles at Cootes Paradise, and that's thanks to the work done by the RBG. We have nesting owls at Aramosa Karst. We're seeing, actually we've discovered a bobolink, which is an endangered species at the Aramosa Karst. So it's a perfect example of how these natural areas are not only beneficial for humans as well. And the other thing that's great about these areas is we can bring children in for our outdoor education programs. So many kids in the Hamilton area have the benefit of coming into these conservation areas and seeing things that they couldn't see anywhere else in the city.
Mm-hmm. That's really important, I'm sure.
It really
an educational component. Let's talk about Christie Lake. We're sitting right here. You can see the beach here, and it's wonderful to see young families and kids enjoying the water, but there are other great things to do right here at the park. There's trout fishing and disc golf. Tell us about that.
Well, we've got an 18-hole championship disc golf course here. It's free to play. We had the Ontario Disc Golf Association hold one of their gold tournaments here in the spring, and we expect to see them back quite frequently. It's a brand new fun activity for kids to come out and try, and actually we've got some die-hard disc golfers that come out every week. There's people here fishing, they're here at dawn, they're in there at their spots and their favorite fishing holes. There's, as you can see behind us here, we've got people out swimming the natural sand beach. There are at least 10 kilometers of hiking trails here in Christie Lake, which also connect to more than 200 kilometers of regional trails.
Wow.
That's something else that we have that I don't think any other city the size of Hamilton has. We have trail connections, the Hamilton to Brantford Rail Trail, which you can access from Christie Lake. It's a small hike down the Lafarge Trail to the rail trail, and that's a 77-kilometer trail that goes from Hamilton to Brantford to Paris to Cambridge. You can connect to the Trans-Canada Trail through our trail network, the Bruce Trail. We have wheelchair accessible trails down at the waterfront. The East Mountain Trail Loop, which is going up near the Aramosa Karst and Albion Falls.
Yeah.
That's the section from Felkers Falls over to Albion is now complete, so that's wheelchair accessible.
So there's hiking for people of all abilities, all ages, and all sorts of different options available.
Absolutely. So I mean, the trail network connects a number of different conservation areas, and so that's just one of the things we can do here at Christie. And if Christie's just a great spot to come and lie out in the sun or enjoy a nice breeze under the trees if you like to.
Of course, this is just one of the properties managed by the Hamilton Conservation Authority. There are other great ones in the area. Spencer is one that comes to mind, Dundas Valley Conservation Area. What are some of the other properties to look forward to?
Valence Conservation Area is just a little north of here by about 10-15 minutes, and it's a wonderful conservation area. It's got over 220 campsites, and a lot of them are nice in the woods. There's water and electricity. They've got group sites and group camping and group picnic areas as well. It's a great fishery. They've got ice fishing in the winter. It's catch and release, but it's a great spot for fishing all year round. There are hiking trails up there as well. Valence is it also contains one of the oldest two-story log cabins in the Hamilton Wentworth area, the Cook cabin that's up there. It's hidden away. It's one of the hidden gems. So
but you've got to make sure to check it out for sure.
Absolutely.
You've got a really exciting event happening here at Christie Lake this August, the Harvest Picnic. Tell us quickly about that.
Okay, we've got the Greenbelt Harvest Picnic coming up, and that's going to be a big day for us. It's August 27th. The gates open at 11 a.m. and the fun starts at 1. We have a day-long concert featuring Danielle Lanois and a whole great lineup of artists. You can check out all the different artists on our website, harvestpicnic.ca. You can buy tickets through the website, either the conservation website, or you can go to harvestpicnic.ca and buy tickets through there. They're available at Ticketmaster.
Perfect.
It's more than just a concert. We're going to have organic produce, a farmer's market. We've got vendors coming in. It's a great day to come with your family, not only for the music, but to come and throw a line in and do some fishing, come do some swimming, and enjoy everything that the conservation area has to offer.
It sounds awesome, and I'm looking forward to being there. Thank you so much for being with us, Chris. It was a pleasure spending this morning with you.
Thanks, it was great.
All right. After the break, more fun in the sun from TERRA at Home.
Come and explore the new TERRA, where color lives.
Welcome back to TERRA at Home. I'm joined today by Barbecue Naz from Royal King. Thank you so much for coming and joining me today.
It's always fun to come over here, breathe in the fresh air, look at all the beautiful flowers out here. You guys got a lot of stuff out here, right?
Isn't it beautiful?
Unbelievable.
We're going to do some barbecuing today.
Well, we're going to do pasta today. Did you ever do pasta on the barbecue?
I have not.
Well,
no, this is the first.
I'm here to tell everybody that you can do more on your gas grill than you can on your stove inside your house.
I believe it.
And we're going to do pasta. We're going to do a really easy, very simple dish, and this is one of my favorite dishes. Okay. I've got pasta cooking on the side burner. Always people ask us what to cook on the side burner.
Yeah.
Here's a reason. You know, use it for cooking some pasta, soups, sauces, all kinds of different things.
Great idea.
I'm going to move this around.
Probably something that not a lot of people would think of doing.
No, not at all. People would never think of doing soups inside their on their side burners. But you know what? I do a soup. I do a really nice charred tomato soup, smoky tomato soup, and then I puree it, put it, get it all done, put it in the fridge. So when I'm ready for grilling, I put the pan on, reheat my soup, and it's ready to go.
That's great. It's
Very
great
simple.
in the summertime to have all these great ideas of things that you can cook outside, and then you're not in your kitchen. You get to enjoy the nice weather.
The heat stays outside. You're right. The heat stays outside. The dirt stays outside. You're entertaining outside.
Exactly. We've been doing that a lot this summer at my household, cooking breakfast outside.
Oh, fantastic. Absolutely.
Yeah, everything from, eggs, toast, bacon, right on the grill.
Well,
so it's great.
Maybe you can invite me back and I'll come and do some eggs and French toast for you on the grill.
That'd be wonderful.
That'd be great. Like I said, you can do more on the grill than you can. Oh, we better talk about what we're doing because I'm almost done here, right?
Okay, let's talk about
so
what
I'm using another great accessory here. I'm using a skillet, a cast iron skillet.
Okay.
And we got it nice and hot. We're using a direct medium temperature. And when you're using a skillet, you need to make sure you use gloves to take the skillet off or a nice cloth. Okay.
That's right.
So we put in some onions. We put in some garlic. We put in some olive oil.
Perfect.
I got to put in some tomatoes right now.
Okay.
Actually, let's put them all in. We'll put them all in. And we're getting this ready. If you want to stir that,
I'm going
to grab the mussels over here. I want to talk about these mussels because we're going to put mussels in there. We're doing a Mussels Arrabiatta, which is basically a very mad mussel, which is hot, spicy, nice and spicy. Now, when you're using mussels, I've got some cultivated mussels here.
Okay.
If you're going to keep them outside while you're cooking, make sure you have some ice on them or put them in cold water.
Right.
But when you're using the mussels, here's a really good tip. Mussels and clams, the same if you're using seafood. If the mussel's open like this, you want to make sure you give it a little squeeze, and if it closes on its own, it's still alive. If it doesn't, you got to discard that. Don't use any mussel that does not close on you, okay? Right. So I'm going to take out the ones that are bad out of here, and we're going to put about half of the mussels right in. Not too many of them, but we're going to put them right on here.
That's looking good.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Also, you know what else we're going to put in here? Let's put about some of that white wine. Where did that white wine go?
I think it's behind you there.
Behind me here? Okay. So the white wine, we got that going. We're going to turn this up to a medium high. Don't try this at home with your hands, okay? Then you're going to put some white wine in here, just like that. Nice. Very simple. Actually, let me put this back or I'm going to knock it over. And then, most importantly, after you toss that around, we're going to put some salt. Where's my salt? A little bit of chili. We're going to put chili in there.
Right,
actually,
that's our
let's
spice.
Put a lot of chili because I really like it.
All right.
I really like the chili. You like hot food?
I do.
Especially in seafood. When you put chili or spice or whatever, peppers in there, it enhances the flavor of the seafood even more. And then we're going to put about a tablespoon or a teaspoon, pardon me, of salt. Mix that around for me again.
Oh, that looks wonderful.
And then I'm going to put this and we're going to cover it up.
Great.
Perfect.
And they probably don't take very long, do they?
They don't take very long.
Maybe a couple minutes?
They don't take long at all. And we're going to put the lid down, okay?
Okay.
We're going to do now on the, if your side burner's free and you're not using the pasta, we're going to do the same thing on here. I'm going to put some oil on here.
Okay.
We're going to put.
I'll do that for you?
Yep. This is going to be This is going to be our sauce. If you just want to have mussel, I'm going to show you two different ways to do this. So you're going to put some garlic on here.
Perfect.
Take the rest of that garlic out.
There we go.
Sizzling there.
Beautiful.
We're going to do some onions, same thing.
Smells
all the onions.
Wonderful.
Those are the best smells in the world. The best aromas is onions and garlic.
Onion and garlic, that's pretty much what I start everything with that I make.
We're going to do some chili on this one too.
Okay.
And we're going to put some butter in this one because this one here is going to be the dipping one. Let me put that on. Take this off with my hand. So we're going to put some butter in here. Very, very simple. If you want to stir that around, you have the spoon?
Sure, I do.
Put that. We're going to use the side burner on this. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put mussels in here. And this would be, if you want to just have like some crusty bread, you want to have this as an appetizer, you just put some butter in there, or you can put some white wine, you can put a little cream in there. I'm going to put a little bit of tomato sauce in there.
Okay.
That way, as it reduces, it gets this beautiful, nice sauce. You can put the crusty bread in there and dip it. We're going to put some more mussels in there.
Okay.
Let's put a bunch in there. I love mussels. Mussels, shrimps. I love seafood just in general on the grill. People always ask me about seafood and, you know, they find it so complicated or so difficult to cook on it. You can use a wok with mussels. There's so many cool accessories out there that you can use, especially when you're cooking seafood and fish.
Right.
The right accessory definitely makes the job a lot easier. So we're gonna put that right on the grill on high, and we're gonna put the top on it.
Okay.
Oh, wait, I gotta put some wine. A little bit of wine, always wine.
When do we put the tomato sauce
We're gonna
in?
put the tomato sauce when we start seeing this thing bubbling up.
Okay.
We're gonna put the tomato sauce in there for the finishing touch.
That looks great.
Put the lid on it, and we're gonna let that simmer down, okay?
Perfect.
Make sure we turn this guy. We gotta
How's
turn.
the pasta there?
Yeah, we definitely. It's boiling. People always say to me, oh yeah, the side burners never work, that they don't boil. Look at the boil I'm getting on this. You can actually fry on this. If you have a little, you know, a little fry pan, you wanna do some battered shrimp. Oh, you can leave the lid open.
Okay.
Yeah, you can leave the lid. That one's gonna
It's
get
just
nice and
this
hot.
lid.
Yeah. But that's okay. I saw you trying to close
Okay,
it,
yeah,
but
I
it's
was
all right.
trying to figure that out,
This
and
is
then I
almost done.
realized.
The pasta won't take too long. So if you plan it properly, by the time you put the pasta in, those mussels will be nice and open,
Okay.
and then we can put it all together.
Great,
and
that
put
sounds
it-
great. So
yes?
we'll go to break, and then when we come back, we'll see it all
We're
finished
already
up.
done? All right, we'll see you in a bit. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Come and explore the new Terra, where color lives.
When we first bought the house, the lawn was nothing but brown. So I called my father-in-law. You know, he's really good with the lawn. He knows exactly what to do.
Well, I told him you're Scott's turf builder. He said, well, I got this other stuff, and I told him take it back to the store. But some brands have filler like sand and gravel, stuff you don't want on your lawn. Scott's turf builder is pure food. Every granule's 100% nutrition. You get what you pay for every time. You see what happens, Tim, when you listen to your father-in-law?
All food, no filler. That's the Scott's advantage.
We're back, and everything's looking finished and delicious.
Smells better.
So we've got the mussels here that you've cooked in a little bit of
Yep.
garlic and onion.
You don't want to cook the mussels too much, okay? So a really cool tip for you, or for everybody out there, is when the mussels open up in the sauce, they're ready. You don't want to cook them too long in there,
Right.
because if you let them go too long, they're going to get so rubbery and they're going to taste awful. So you just, as soon as that's a good sign. They're a self-timer that as soon as they open up, they're ready to be taken out.
Great, that's good to know.
So you're
And,
adding what? What you're
basil.
adding in my sauce?
Fresh basil.
Okay, so we're going to
Is that
add
okay?
fresh basil, and when you're doing that,
Doesn't
I'm
this
going
look
to put
great?
that.
It's amazing.
Smells amazing, eh? If you guys could only smell this. Smell-o-vision is necessary in our society.
Okay, so
So while you're doing that now,
that looks good. We'll mix that in.
yeah, I'm going to put in the pasta.
Great.
Mix that in nicely.
Okay.
Over here.
Naz, like you said before, pasta on the grill. I can't believe how
I
great
know.
an idea it is.
I know. It's pretty crazy. People always say you do pasta on their grill, and it's like, well, I don't put it right on the grill; it's going to fall through.
Sure.
But using the side burner and whatnot, all these recipes we have a Broil King site, BroilKingBBQ.com. There's recipes in there. There's a really cool book called The Gathering from Broil King. It's got lots of cool recipes in there, and you guys got tons of recipes on your site too, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So, but that's perfect. We mix it up nicely. While I'm doing that, be careful with this guy here.
Okay.
This is ready to go. We're going to throw a little bit of basil in there too.
Perfect.
Put this over here, and I'm gonna plate this guy. You're gonna need that.
Now this is just a mussel dish that's great for you know, entertaining, sitting
yeah,
outside.
nice appetizer.
Couple drinks.
You can do some crostinis on your grill. You know, get up some Parisian bread, put some olive oil on it or some butter, and put it right on the grill and toast it up. Look at that. That's looking so
snack.
delicious, eh?
Fantastic.
Beautiful. Very nice presentation.
Oh, this was my favorite. This is what I'm known for, is my seafood dishes on the grill.
Well, and for good reason. Naz, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank
I
you
can't
guys.
wait to try the mussels. And of course, once again, check out Naz's book, From Broil King, for more of his recipes like mussels on the grill. Join us next week for more Terra at Home.